Alright, so we're going to talk about equilibrium graphs and how to spot, or more, I guess, we're going to talk about some graphs of concentrations of reactions, of reversible reactions, and we're going to look at the pressure or concentration and figure out where equilibrium is, what happens, what's the graph going to look like when you stress the system, and that kind of stuff. Alright? Now with these graphs, this is either going to be pressure or concentration, and this is going to be time. Alright? And this concentration is getting greater. Alright? This concentration is getting less. Okay? And this concentration is also getting less. Sorry, not getting less. It's also getting greater. So we've got three species in here. A, B, and C. Alright? Now, it's not, we don't have a chemical equation, so you don't know which one is the reactant and which one's the product. Alright? And the thing about these, I'm going to extend them just a little further, is we want to know when's equilibrium being established and when it hasn't been. Alright? And what it means when it's not. Alright, so there. When these things go flat, and the red goes flat right there, kind of meets there, this is where equilibrium. I've got equilibrium here. Alright? This section, I do not. Equilibrium is not happening, or isn't present. Now, for this first section of the graph, Q is not equal to K, alright, because my concentrations are changing. And here, Q is equal to K when for a reversible reaction that you're studying, when the concentrations are remaining constant. That's when Q is equal to K. I'm at equilibrium, and my concentrations are constant. Alright? Now, if I needed to figure out the Q or the K, I would need an equation. And I'd have to write an equation. I would need numbers, really, to figure this out. But you can tell A is going to have the biggest coefficient, because A shows the greatest change. B is going to have the smallest subscript. Alright? Sorry, I said B. C is going to have the biggest subscript, because C has got the least change. So the equation could look like this. And you know that A and B are on the same side of the equation, and C is on the other side. So typically we start out with reactants. So we're going to say C equals 2B plus 4A, right? Now I'd have to I would need to know these values to actually figure out what these subscripts are. I'm just using it as a point, to make a point, all right? Now, if we've got a system, we might stress it out, all right? And the stress is going to be a change in pressure, a change in volume, a change in concentration, all right? What the graph will do is spike up or down, all right? And that says response, even though I spelt it wrong. I wrote go back to equilibrium. Let's say re-establish. All right, it's going to re-establish equilibrium. And what the graph will do is go back. It'd go back opposite spike. It may not return to the actual value that it had originally, but it's going to go back. And I'll show you what I mean with an example. All right. So 2a plus b yields c. So a, b, c. All right. What's going to happen to the concentration? Let's say these are the equilibrium concentrations. Let's say predict graph if A is added. Okay? So what's A going to do? Its concentration is going to spike like this. All right? Now, what it'll eventually do is when it does this, Q is going to be greater than K because, sorry, Q is going to be less than K because my A value is going up. So my Q value is going to be less to K. That's going to favor the forward reaction. So A would go like this. It would then tend to slope down like that and reestablish equilibrium. B isn't going to spike, but would decrease half as much, but then reestablish equilibrium around the same time there. C would go the opposite of like that. Because C is being made, it's going to increase like that. All right? All right. A plus B yields AB. So A, B, and AB. All right. Now these problems are kind of more theoretical than like it's to show you what the graph's going to do once you change things. These lines may not be exactly right. Like they may be closer together in reality with a real reaction. But the point of this is just to show you when I change the graph, like what happens. All right. Let's say I decrease the volume. What's going to happen to all these pressures? All right. All the pressures are going to concentrations are going to increase. All right. And what is it going to do as a result? Well, it's going to tend to reestablish, or it's not going to tend to, it's going to reestablish equilibrium. And if I decrease the volume, it's going to want to increase the pressure, or sorry, decrease the pressure. It wants to create less species. So that's going to shift the equilibrium to the right because that's going to have more or less, less particles and less pressure. Not more or less, more particles, less particles and more pressure, less pressure. So the concentration of B would go like this, and this would go like this, but A and B would go like that until equilibrium was reestablished. So these this is how the charts are gonna react. These little drops or spikes, as I mentioned them, are going to happen as a result of your stresses. All right, let's go over one more example. Let's go over a change in concentration or pressure. So A yields 2B. All right, so at equilibrium, I start off with A and goes like that. All right, I start off with A, it goes like this, and there. Okay, now let's say I increase the pressure or the concentration of A. So A is going to spike. That's not going to affect B. All right. A is going to then tend to go like that, and B is going to tend to go like this at double the rate, like that. Oh, I drew that like it'd be like that. All right. And that's how it would look. So B would go up, flatten, and then when A spiked, it's going to start increasing as A decreases. All right.